volume all the way down?
Now it is.
Okay, is it better now?
It was a weird psycho noise, though. It was like a Bernard Herrmann score. I'm
Are we
tilted
still
on my
echoing,
thing
or do
here.
we sound better?
Is that good?
I still hear an echo. I don't know why that is.
What about now?
Maybe I have to put on headphones. Let me. Oh, sorry, Henry. Let me try and put on headphones myself and see if that solves things.
It's coming out of the computer. Oh my God! It's coming from inside the house.
Let's see. How about now? Is the echo gone?
I can't hear anything now. It's great.
Great. You hear me in your ears still?
I do, but is it coming from somewhere?
I don't hear any more echo. Do you hear echo still?
I have the phone turned all the way down, but then again, I'm 61.
Does our audience still hear echo? I don't hear any echo.
No, I don't now.
Amazing.
God.
Great. We are live.
If this was the old days, Ben, before the plague, and we were at a comedy club and we got on stage and we farted around for 10 minutes with the microphones in front of everyone. Is this on?
Unless that was a slapstick bit.
Oh, well, then it would be hilarious, just like the one we were doing that. What?
Since you have your Biden-Harris pin, I should put this hat on, maybe.
Oh, I love it. And, I don't know if we're allowed to use profanity with props, but.
Oh, yeah. I think props can swear. I love that. I love that.
It makes it funner when you put it on the Biden-Harris, then it gives it that extra kick.
Oh, I love that.
Right?
I saw someone had a lawn sign in my neighborhood that said, Biden 2020.
Is anyone being driven crazy by echo or anything? Or are we all good?
No, everybody says we're good now.
Okay, awesome. Now, my eyesight's pretty bad. I have eyesight like if you were watching a lesbian vampire movie from the 70s and everything's all soft and everything's softcore. That's what
Not everything is soft, Greg.
It's a good thing I'm sitting. I don't know what that means. But so if you could, I can sort of see the things going by. One thing says funner, y'all great now. Are you seeing anything on your Instagram?
I'm seeing comments here. We have people telling, thank goodness for tech then, says Becky Lynn.
Yes. Well, I've learned how to operate a Zoom, is it? I've learned how to operate whatever we're on now, Boneyard or whatever.
Boneyard. It's called Boneyard. It's where we bury things that don't need to be seen anymore.
Yeah. And I've my learning curve has been, I can program my own microphone and whatnot now.
Yeah,
I did record me. Huh?
You've impressed me since your early shows when half the show you weren't there.
Half the show wasn't there, and I was wearing headphones like it was 1974.
Yes, which I am now.
I noticed. I love yours. Very handsome.
This is the smooth listening station of Greg Proops and Ben Gleib. We're here during the drive time every day, hoping you fall asleep and drive off the freeway on account of your sleepiness.
It's soft and warm this afternoon. We got some Stanley Clark coming your way, followed by Anita Baker.
And we're going to finish up the hour with some Ghostface Killer. We have a question from Jennifer Rose Storey.
Oh, yes. What is it, my darling?
I didn't mean to click that one. That's just a hello, gentleman. Well, hello, lady.
Oh, hi, gentlemen. Hello, ladies.
I was trying to click this one from Jennifer Rose Storey. But are you wearing pants?
The mystery remains.
I would reveal it too, but I've got something down here I'd rather show you that pops up from the frame into frame. Whoa. Are you seeing this, Greg? What I got downstairs that I'm sharing with everybody?
Is that a big puppy?
You better believe it. It's Henry the horse.
Wow.
He's Henry
So
the horse.
cute.
Thank you. I would love... Oh, I see John Dugan here saying, much love, have to miss the G thing this time, family obligations. But John has been at most of our G things. John, do you want to tell the people your review, an honest review of our G thing shows you've been out? I will post that comment in a moment. And Leedy Corbin, who I haven't asked her yet, but if she's available, if you're down with it, Greg, I would love for her to draw us again live.
Oh, that'd be fantastic.
Leedy, she enjoyed our ASMR earlier when we were promoting our show just a moment ago, which is this Saturday night, October 17th at 6:30 p.m. Pacific, 9:30 Eastern, 8:30 Central. Greg
The
and
last
Gleib.
show, you can find it at Nowhere Comedy Club. If you just type Nowhere Comedy Club into your thing on the top of your thing.
Yep, that's true. Or don't even go through that step and just add a .com on there, nowherecomedyclub.com, and you can get the ticket straight up.
By the way, it's a bargain because the last show we did, what, 7.5 hours?
We did 7.5 hours, 7:42.
It's like a Fassbinder film. We stopped, we had dinner. The audience left for a while. We came back. We went to a taco truck. It was pretty wild. It went on a long time.
Just the amount of radishes alone, people didn't see it coming.
You know what I mean? And I think it's that Ben and I, we crave the laughter of humans, but also I think there's something in our synergy that we're spellbound by the sounds of our own voices commingling.
That's correct. That's correct. My favorite way to go to sleep is I call Greg and we just do improv games together back and forth until it's the world's worst night of sleep coming my way.
And we come wrapped in the arms of Morpheus and other various Greek gods and or perverts. They're almost synonymous.
And or Matrix characters.
And or Matrix characters. Or as my friend Jeff Davis always insists, the matrices, because that's how you pluralize that.
Right. A lot of people think it's may try and it's not correct.
No, it's not
you,
may try.
You may try and you'll fail. You will fail if you try it that way.
You can send pictures, can you?
I don't know if you can, but if anybody goes right now to nowherecomedyclub.com,
can anyone see that?
They send. Oh, I do see that. Wow, cool.
A bunch of my birthday was this month. I'm 74, and a bunch of people who I follow on Twitter and who follow me and are fans of our show, and they've come to all the G things and Proopcasts and our stand up. Sent me this birthday card, and I just wanted to show it and say thank you. I really appreciate that.
Awesome. Do they own all kittens? Adorable kittens.
Why am I ending my live video? How can I get that to go away is the question.
That I don't even know. I never knew you could bring in pictures. So
I didn't know you could either until I just pressed this button. But you know what happens when they let people like me use technology? There we go.
There it is. Leedy will be asking me about.
Sorry.
No, not at all.
Anyway, that was a really sweet thing to get that.
Very, very sweet. And I'll tell you what else. If any of you want to be even sweeter and get a ticket right now to our show, I'll put up right now a tiny URL for a discount ticket.
What?
Yeah. I don't even mess around. If you go to this URL, if you're watching this on my socials, and if you're watching it on Greg's Instagram, it's tinyurl.com/weareGs. Because tell them why, Greg.
Because it's a G thing. Tinyurl.com/weareGs. The tickets should usually be like $15 at this point.
Yep. And you can get it for $10. $10 strong.
That's right. $10 thin dollars.
So if you tell us, first person to tell us in the comments that you got a ticket, we will shout you out on the God mic before the show begins, so everybody knows what a supporter you are.
Right. And during the VIP part, I will peel some fruit very seductively.
There's also a VIP meet and greet, and Greg often peels fruit in like a very haphazard way, but he's going to make it as seductive as possible this time.
I've been taking some movement classes via Zoom, Ben, and I really feel like I have something to prove now. With my spasmodic dancing, I've tried to smooth out some of the rough edges and get that showgirl thing back in my act.
That's what a lot of people loved you for early. I understand you, an artist rebels from what they first are known for, but to return at this point in your career back to what got you there, basically your body and the way you move it, I think it means a lot to people.
I owed it to the fans, let's be honest. I'm not sure which camera to look at. There's so many cameras, and I'm seeing giant things reflected in my glasses, and I wonder if that's too much.
No, I think it looks cool. I think it looks very cool. There's my hat in your glasses, Mike.
I was going to say, there's Ben's hat.
Man-in-chief hat in your glasses.
It's the simple things. But we really do have a groovy time, though. Last show was so long that my wife was like, at that point, completely checked out. She'd not only gone in the other room, she'd like wrote a novel. And
that's why we do long shows, by the way, is because it's the only way Greg can kind of be a bachelor again the rest of the night. You know? She's asleep and it's just beers and beer bongs in the living room solo for Greg.
Yep. So what I'm getting at is not only is it a great comedy value, you can take a break probably during it and get some chores done, whatnot, check up on
Yes.
friends, and then come back, and it's still full tilt boogie.
That's what most of the audience does. Is a lot of them leaves for the great majority of the show. They're there for moral support. They laugh a little bit. They leave. They do stuff. They come back. They put the kids down, and then that makes them sad, and we cheer them back up.
Right
at the end of the show. And our show is not. There's not a linear narrative. It's short form improv typically. And so if you leave and you come back, you're not going to be lost. We're playing a new game momentarily.
Yep. There's lots of hilarious characters, and of course, the props you've come to know and love. The wombat. I've got a couple crustacean ones I'm going to break out on you this time that I think are going to blow your mind.
You got new props.
Yeah, the chocolate bunny, the chocolate Godiva
People
bunny.
love the chocolate bunny.
Yeah, that one off. I don't know how old that bunny is, by the way, Ben. I can't remember when I bought it.
Will you eat it on the last show of this year? Will you eat it?
Yes, I will. That's my pledge to you.
Wow.
Also, look, I know our people are cool. I'm sure you've been doing a lot of political stuff lately. What have you been doing?
A lot. I am trying to get the Telethon for America 2020 going. We did that in 2018 to help create historic turnout in the midterms, which happened. And then we are trying to get it going for 2020 to create historic turnout ever in a presidential election in our nation. I also am producing and performing on a show, you are as well, on Tuesday for the Wisconsin Democrats, trying to raise money to make sure we flip Wisconsin blue, and the lineup is berserk. It's not crazy and fun like our show where you really get to dive deep with two of your comedy favorites, but there's people like Whitney Cummings and Seth MacFarlane and Harry Shearer. I might have just dropped two names there that have not been announced. Seth MacFarlane and Harry Shearer.
Sarah Silverman is on it.
Sarah Silverman.
The woman who does the lip syncing to Trump, Sarah Cooper, is it? She's on it.
Maria Bamford.
Yeah.
It's an insane lineup.
I couldn't be more chuffed because how small the world is over the interweb, and how this election has really, I think, made things better. People weren't as willing to work with you before that you didn't know. True. And now I'm working with all kinds of people. You're working with all kinds of people. I mean, you've stood for office, so you have more of a grasp of how to schmooze it out. But I find that people are much more accessible. Like, soon as you got me on the Wisconsin thing, they put my name on it. And then the head of the Wisconsin Democratic Party tweets me this morning, is like, I'm excited to see Greg there. And that's the kind of thing you're like, I would have never talked to the head of the Democratic Party in Wisconsin. But now you kind of talk to everybody. I've been in touch with lots of people at the Biden campaign. We did an event yesterday called Lindsay Must Go, for a group that formed in South Carolina. And I had Aisha Tyler and Colin Mockery, Dave Foley, and then they got Bradley Whitford, and we had J.A. Moore, who's a state rep there. And, just to raise money for Lindsey Graham and Riff, and we did, improv and whatnot.
As long as Lindsay's in office, they're referred to as South Colonic, by the way.
We were told to ease off on some of the humor that would cast things in a non-essential light.
We love your comedy, but do you mind easing off the humor a little bit?
South Carolina is a lovely place and deserves a much better senator. And as for this notion that we're interfering in their politics, I disagree. For instance, South Carolina has a small population compared to, say, Los Angeles. And yet their sway in the Senate, because he sits as the head, Lindsay, of the Judiciary Committee, is enormous. So what we have to deal with as the 40 million people entity of California is directly tied to the Electoral College and directly tied to the imbalance of the Senate, where a minority of the people in the country are having a bigger voice than the majority do. So California has two senators, like Wyoming has two senators. Wyoming has 750,000 people. So my representation is diminished. So this whole, because they keep complaining that outside people are pouring money into their races, but it means the world to us. We have to have a say.
And I don't know if you guys hear this as well, but there's a really scary political phenomenon that may be happening, which is that as the Trump administration definitely plans to contest the results of this election, if it gets not certified, and the states can send electors that do not represent the vote of the people, and then if it goes to the House of Representatives to decide, even though Democrats control the House, it does not go by their delegations. It goes by one vote per state. And we currently are down 26 to 25. It includes DC in that scenario, 26 to 25, and we would lose. And so the special election happening right now matter greatly, and the elections, because that vote may happen after January 3rd when the Senate and the House are seated, the new ones.
Right.
And so we need to, every one of these races matter a great deal.
Including your state races and local races. Don't forget to try to replace everybody you can with a nice Democrat who wants there to be more voting, more access to information, all those things.
Yeah. That's the other thing, Greg. Go ahead.
Well, I'm doing one Sunday for Iowa called, it's called Blue Corn, Flip Iowa to Save the World. And they're all state Senate and assembly races and all women candidates. And that kind of agenda, Iowa has Steve King, who's one of the most racist of all the Congress people. He's openly racist.
And that's saying a lot.
He's not running this time. I think they told him to quit because they pulled him off all the committees. But state politics are so important because houses, states that have a house like California, we have ballot boxes everywhere. We got our ballots weeks ago. It couldn't be easier to track it online. I mean, they make the voting pretty good here, right in time for the pandemic. I were able to fill out a ballot at home, go to a ballot box and put it in.
And the Republicans have been nice enough to put up all these fake ballot boxes too.
Right.
So you can just go put your ballot in there. If you don't want it to count, it's an easy way to get your ballot invalidated and thrown away.
Yeah, so there's one in my neighborhood, and it's disguised as an Arby's, the old-fashioned one, with the cowboy hats and everything.
We've got the votes.
So
Greg, the review is in, by the way, from John Duggan, who can't make our show this week, but I asked him to review us. I'm nervous. I haven't read this in advance. Here comes the review. Okay. What is It's a G thing like? Beautiful madness, joyful chaos, pants pissing, laughter inducing. If you want my honest opinion. tinyurl.com/weareGs if you want a free ticket. I didn't want an honest opinion. I was hoping he would lie and say the show wasn't good, but okay. Yeah. That's one way to go with it.
There's a famous comedian named Debbie C. Fields, and
Debbie C. Fields, is that WC's daughter?
Yes. No relation. And I don't know if you remember Debbie Fields from the chocolate chip cookie empire, but I believe she was his grandniece. With him, it was alcohol. With her, it was chips. And W.C. Fields was a motion picture star, of course, for a long time, and famously hated children on screen and whatnot. He had a fantastic persona, but he played in vaudeville for 30 years before he was a movie star. He was old when he got in the movies, and he was the world's greatest juggler. And he took the cigar box juggling. That's his. He kind of pioneered that. And then he had another shtick he did with a pool table. And in vaudeville, they put a big mirror up above it so that the audience could see him do the trick shots and everything. And he does it in the movies. He does the pool table bit and he does the juggling in the movies. But what's your point? He hated to be upstaged and he hated any kind of criticism. So like when they'd go to town in vaudeville, you got reviewed everywhere you went. And he was top of the bill, right? He's a star, like Burt Robbins or who was a great black star of vaudeville. There was, you were the one who they came to see at the end of the second to last act of the second act. Then there was a walk-off act that everybody walked off during, right? And how do you know so much about vaudeville, Greg? Shut up. That's how I, because I'm old. And
Greg stopped consuming media back when vaudeville ended.
Ed Wynn was on the show with him, right? The comedian Ed Wynn, and who did a thing like that. Mary McCheese is Ed Wynn, although now people are so young they don't know who Mary McCheese is. But Mary McCheese,
they've replaced him by now. They've probably replaced Mary McCheese by now.
Right. They have. I'm sure it's a council member LGBTQ, pie or whatever, and apple pie. So Ed Wynn was fucking with him during his act. He was doing his specialty pool cue act, and
somebody used to steal your clothing style.
Oh, nice. My wife gave me that 9 Inch Nails shirt. Anyway, Ed Wynn popped his head up in front of the pool table and got pulled focus and everybody laughed. And W.C. Fields cracked him on the head with the pool stick and knocked him out. And the audience thought it was part of the shtick and they went, yay. And
damn.
So he got it. He would get good reviews, right? Like W.C. Fields, a marvelous, comedian, this, that. If anybody qualified it, could have been better or this part didn't work, he would. And that's how I feel. I don't really care for reviews where people are like, I didn't think this part worked. I'm always like, you know what? I didn't think you were smart enough to get all my subtle jokes.
Listen, you only listen to the reviews when they're good. And when they're bad, you think the person, what an idiot. This person doesn't know a thing. They don't know their head from their ass until the next time they review you well. And then all of a sudden things turn around for you.
How many people are dedicated comedy writers? Like I can think of a few in England and maybe one or two here that are dedicated comedy writers. That's all they write about. What's his name from Comedy Bureau? I'm blanking on his name. Always sharp as a tack. He always wears a hat.
Nailman, tacky guy.
Jake Kroger. He's a good comedy writer because I would see him at every show I'd go to. You know, I'd do a set, he'd be there. Like so he saw everybody. He knew what they're talking about. He knew the context. You know, like that's so important. Festivals, like I'm sure you've done. Well, Montreal's one matter because they have a lot of good comedy writers that go to the festival.
And we did Vancouver together a long time ago.
Yeah, we did Vancouver together where we met, and Vancouver a little loose, but like at Edinburgh, they press everybody into service. So like all of a sudden someone who writes about gardening has come to your show and or motors, you know, the car guy, and like, I didn't like it. And you're like, what? Like you don't know anything about it, you know, like in order to be a comedy critic, you really have to consume all the comedy and know what's going on. You can't just be like, I remember the Telegraph came to see my show in Wales. I was at a book festival.
Greg is so old, an actual Telegraph came. It was a riot, full stop.
A dirigible landed in a show of airmanship. It was
calling all seamen, please come check out the Proops extravaganza. It's a sight for the ages.
Come one, come all.
And then come to the show.
Right. The Telegraph is a right-wing paper in England. And I did the first part of the show where I improvised, right? It was a podcast. So I schmoozed the crowd, which we used to do in the old days. I actually stood in front of the thing and shook up his hand when they came in. It was a big crowd because fantastically, the price was like £5, which is really dirt cheap. So I had a giant crowd. I had more than anybody at the festival because I didn't charge anything. And I talked to everybody, which they were all like, nobody talks to us. The guards are like, you're talking to people? I'm like, yeah. So the first hour I improvised, I had the program, I did this, then I went into politics. And the second half was not to his liking because he was a Tory, right? Sure. The nickname of the Telegraph paper is the Tory Graph. And so the review came out the next day and it was like, Greg Proops proved he was one of Britain, right? You're one of them when they like you. One of Britain's great improvisers. And then things went south. And the second half, it was like, because I was talking about Occupy Wall Street and how the rich were too rich, and you know,
yeah, you don't want to take people on in their own homes unless you do. If you stand for things, that's the thing.
Right.
I remember the Occupy Wall Street days. I spent a night in a tent down at LA City Hall. I did videos there, try to do some subversive videos down there. One of the things you asked what else I was doing for the election is I also am working on with Richard Green helping edit his ebook to take you through the entire election and help people know what they're voting for, what's on the ballot, all these things that a super majority of the country wants, like voting rights protection, the end of voter suppression, like equal pay for women for equal work, like no discrimination against LGBTQ people codified into the law, like climate action. All of these things are actual bills. Healthcare are all actual bills already passed by the House. And the Senate just won't take them up because they're Republican controlled. So if we flip just 4 seats, that you can get all these things passed, and it's the people's plan is what we're calling it, and it changes all those things. Don't know why I went back to being political. I have to leave in about 3 or 4 minutes to do sound check for SDSC. So if you guys want some more comedy, come see Social Distancing Social Club. But first, 2 or 3 last quick things. For those who don't know what our show is, it's a G thing. Gleib and Greg, it's Greg and Gleib. It's a G thing. At Nowhere Comedy, we do improv games. Whose line is it anyway style. We interact with the crowd. You become the show. We do the show. It's unscripted. We do games for everybody. It's a real blast. It's a total diversion from the shit show that is 2019 or whatever year we're in. I've lost track.
1917.
1970.
Yeah, it really is. We just free form and we bounce off each other. You can see, of course, that we have a lot of things in common. We're political. We're high. We care, and we get a groovy crowd. So we'd love you to come out and join us. It's tomorrow night, 6:30 Proops Daylight Time. That's 9:30 East Coast. One in the morning, England.
1 in the morning, England, but worth it. It might be 2, actually. Somebody said 2, but I think it's worth it to stay up.
I know. I don't.
Donna Schimmer got 2 tickets. Can't wait.
Right? If we started any earlier, it would be like a lunchtime show.
You're damn right. And the last thing I wanted to know, Leedy Corbin asks us, have we ever done the improv game Do Run?
No, what is it?
I don't know. How does it go, Leedy? You can tell us quickly. And then I wonder, Greg, if you would be game, if you'd want to give people a quick little sample, we could do maybe a quick world's worst. We take one suggestion and just do a quick run of world's worst.
We need a world's worst somebody.
World's worst chef or world's worst protester,
teacher.
But a different idea. Yeah, anything. Give us a suggestion, and we will do a quick world's worst just to give you a low key, sitting down, not quite the energy of a big Saturday night show sample of what we do.
Oh no, we stand up. I sweat.
Oh yeah, I stand. I put on a suit and a tie because that's the way Greg dresses, and I don't want to look like I do now compared to him.
Right. Anybody give anything?
We've got some comments here. We've got world's
firefighters.
We've got
world's worst mortician,
phlebotomist, plumber, and clown. I'm seeing
world's worst
or firefighters. Any preferences there, Greg?
Yeah, I'm going to rip off a joke from years ago. World's worst mortician. We got it on Who's Line in Britain in the 90s. And Tony Slattery goes, he doesn't look that dead, and starts humping the corpse, right? And that didn't get in the show.
Oh, nice.
Not dead.
Hilarious. How about one that just popped in here? I'm seeing world's worst doctor. Shall we?
Okay.
All right. World's worst doctor.
Thank you for coming into my office today. I'm afraid I've got something to tell you. I'm a dentist.
I've got good news and bad news. The bad news is that it's cancer. The good news is that if you could just look in my behind, maybe you could get it out.
Hi, I'm Dr. Burks. Well, you see how it works. But there'll be, of course, a lot more alcohol and energy at the Saturday night show.
That's correct. It goes to a whole new level, and it doesn't really go 7.5 hours. Those of you who don't understand that we were slightly exaggerating. It's a nice, lengthy, you get your money's worth. We'll tell you that much.
That's long.
And you can get a discount ticket if you go right now to tinyurl.com/wearegs, WeAreGS. And you get a ticket for $5 off if you use that special URL. It's a show you don't want to miss. It really is a respite from the madness that is the current world. I recommend it strongly. You can get a VIP ticket as well if you want to have some private time with me and Greg after the show in a nice intimate grouping.
Oh, yeah, it's groovy. We invite you to come. Please join us, won't you? It's fun. It's almost free.
It's practically free.
What
I'm showing people on your Instagram there the URL as well.
Oh, yes. It's tinyurl.com/wearegs.
WeAreGs. So that's that. We couldn't thank you enough for your time, for being with us. Please spread the word, too. If you like the show, Greg's about to take it. You already took it to the next level. This broadcast, you're about to take it again.
Right?
Greg doesn't stop.
No.
He is forever groovy. And we do it during the show, too. Things get a little bit next level madness. What are you showing us there? Your wrist? You're showing us your wrist. We didn't see the top.
It's
that's too high. It's way too high. Oh, on the Instagram, I see it. On the other thing, I'm seeing. There we go. Oh, that's a nice lighter.
Right?
Love that. Very cool. God bless you guys.
We come prepared. God bless you. We'll see you tomorrow.
Please spread the word if you've been to the show, because people need to know. People need the laughter. Don't save it for yourself. Look at Diana's review. A bunch of very hard laughing faces.
Really? Well, that was sweet.
Very sweet.
Yes. All right.
Thank you guys. Thank you for being with us, and we can't thank you enough, and so we will stop.
We'll see you tomorrow, babies.
Bye.
Bye, Ben.
Bye, Gregor.